Alvin, Coach Payton was telling us yesterday about the conversation you guys were having field the halftime, and you kind of suggested a specific run that you might be in favor of in the second half. What did you see on the previous play that bounced you off of that? And is that something that occurs between you and he fairly often, or somewhat often? Or how often does that occur?
Yeah, so I called the play, but no, man, I just I'm always in tune, and I mean that's something I've been doing since I got here. Just try to stay in tune. Like even with Drew, I ask him what he's seeing during the game, and I ask everybody what they're seeing. I even ask Jameis like what he's seeing, because it's people like I don't have any ego in this. It's people that know more than me, but as long as I can kind of stay in their pocket, like I feel like I know a lot. So that look on that keeper play, it was a design keep. So obviously Taysom faked the ball to me, and I saw the whole part. And with that motion, nobody was really worried about that backside. And I'm like, man. So when Sean asked me what plays I'm like, man, let's run that same motion. Let's go torch ride 15. Week 15 week F. Instead of the keeper. So he dialed it up. I mean, at the right time, we got back down in that same kind of area, and it scored. And I was coming off, and he like, you called that play. I'm like, yeah, you damn right. But it's cool because Sean, he's not. He doesn't really have an ego. If it's an idea that somebody has that he thinks could work, he listens. So.
Next question, Andy Jeff.
Yeah, follow up on that. Just how validating was that he not only put that play in for you, but you scored on it too?
Oh, I know he was gonna score. That's why I told him. But I mean, it's dope because I mean, it's cool for me because it kind of like backs up what I see, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm not tripping. I see this look like, and then when I tell him, and then he calls it, and then we score, it's like, okay, I might got some money in the bank now. I might be able to call a couple plays in the game.
Amos Morale.
Yeah, I was the offensive line. Pretty much the whole team has dealt with injuries, and the depth has really come through for you guys. I was wondering if you think there's a correlation between the depth you guys have built and the culture of the locker room and just the organization in general.
I think it's the culture of our organization. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, everybody in our locker room has a role. And I think that it shows. Every Sunday, even like we talking about injuries and just things happening. I think we're more equipped than any other organization that I see to be able to withstand some of these bumps and bruises and this adversity. I haven't been anywhere else, but I mean, from talking to other people that have been multiple places, they're like, man, y'all a well-oiled machine, and it's the best run organization that I've seen, and this, that. But I mean, I think we all know we got a great coach and a great locker room, great front office, great everything here. So we just want to play for each other. Everybody has a job to do. Everybody has a role. So somebody goes down, is next up.
Jeff Duncan.
Hey, Alvin, Coach Payton told us the story the other day about your private workout when you were at Tennessee and what an impression that made on the organization. What are your memories of that day?
That day, I was not planning on working out, and I was very adamant about not working out. So we that morning, we met up at the facility, went in the film room, knocked that out, and I'm going downstairs, and I think a couple of my teammates were, they were working out. And I was going into the weight room actually to lift, like, because I still been training and doing stuff, just trying to stay ready. And, Jeff Ireland comes up to me. He's like, yeah, well, Sean wants to see you work out and whatever. And I'm like, well, at this point, I don't know who Sean, I mean, I know who Sean Payton is, but I don't know him personally. So I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to work out. I'm good. So then Sean's like, no, I want to see you work out. And I'm like, shit, man. All right, so I go run in the equipment room real quick. Ask my equipment manager Hawk I'm like, man, let me get some cleats and some gloves real quick, man. The Saints, at this point, I don't care. I'm like, the Saints want to see me work out. I don't know why. Hawk, I don't, man. I'm trying to just get to the draft as quick as I can. So he give me some cleats and gloves. I go out there. I don't even stretch. He's like, I want you to run this. He was explaining stuff. I'm like, come on, man, I got this. Like, come on, what you want? I want you to run an arrow. I want you to run a shallow cross, but I want to see you catch it with my hands. Yeah, okay, I got you. Whatever. Get through it. And he's like, all right, good, thanks. And I'm like, man, I just worked out for these dudes. I told myself I wasn't working out, and I worked out. And then obviously I end up getting drafted here. So I guess that's the difference. I mean, if I didn't work out, I might not be here.
Well, I was going to say, Coach said that he left that meeting wanting to target you in the draft. Did you have a good feeling about it at all, or were you still?
I was mad that I worked out. I don't know. I was mad from working out, so I didn't even think anything of it. So when I got drafted, when it was like, okay, New Orleans Saints select me, I'm like, ah, dang. So then I'm putting it together. I'm like, okay, well, that was probably the best decision to go ahead and work out.
Luke, thanks.
No, I just wanted to just ask you to just tell stories. But Tre'Quan Smith, I feel like every time I'm watching one of your big runs, he's making a big block downfield. I think he had a really big one on your touchdown run.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that to what y'all do, and just how much do you appreciate that as his teammate?
Man, like, appreciate it to the utmost. You know, Trey, like, he don't really say too much. You know, he like, that job is unglorified. Like, you know, a receiver block that's able to block well. You know, because he's in there. He has to. Not only does he have to play receiver, catch the ball, and, you know, run down the field, come back and do it again. He might not get the ball, but we're running inside zone, and he got to go crack the end, or he got to go black a linebacker, and he's doing it. Not only doing it, but doing it well and consistently. You know, and that's somebody we lean on in our offense to be able to get the job done. And he does it. He don't complain. And, you know, I mean, it's like, I think, it eases my mind to look and know Tre'Quan is right there, and he's gonna be able to get a block, and he's gonna get the job done. Like, I'm not even worried about, you know, him. When I look out there and see him, I know it's good. So, you know, he might not get enough credit for it, but he knows he's appreciated.
Amy Jeff?
Yeah, Demario was named your team's nominee for Man of the Year. Just how special has he been, not only just in the locker room as a leader on the field, and then doing all of the things that he's done off the field too?
Man, I mean, when I talk about guys, like, just talking about Demario, like, not even, I exclude the football field. We know all the things he does on the football field. I'm talking about off the field. I mean, dude is a family man, great father. Just a man, like you say, he's a nominee for Man of the Year. I mean, he practices what he preaches day in and day out. Somebody you can talk to, count on to you know, give you some guidance, man, and just give you some pointers in life. You know, I'm leaving out the football, like I said. He's just great person to talk to, outstanding individual, and he deserves that for sure. And I mean, I know it's times I've talked to him about, you know, a plethora of things, and, you know, his insight and his standpoint on certain issues and topics is very interesting, and I mean, it's somebody that is like the definition of a role model for sure.
And last question from Rod Walker.
Yeah, Alvin, it almost feels unfair to ask you about these two guys back to back, but can you tell me your best Malcolm Jenkins story, or what just kind of stands out about him?
Man, Malcolm, an interesting dude, man. It's funny because right before I came over here doing media, we was just talking. Me and somebody were just talking about Malcolm, but I mean, he kind of like the same type of guy like Demario, you know. But he a little bit different in that his stances are so strong, and, you know, like, he has such a strong personality and strong ideals and strong viewpoints, and, you know, it may be off-putting to some people, but he's so comfortable in navigating, you know, the space that he's in, and he's comfortable with himself, and, you know, he doesn't bite his tongue, and, you know, that's something I admire, because that's kind of like how I view myself. I don't really, you know, it is what it is. Like, either you like it or you don't. So, I mean, it's something to admire about that, because you have to definitely be, you know, at one with yourself. But Demario, again, very respected. Malcolm, very respected. I think, man, just he's making a difference off the field. Like I said, I'm not even talking about the football player, Malcolm. I'm talking about the person, the man. And I mean, he's definitely a stand-up man.